Hello all, Robert Condon here, today with COVID-19 Addendum to LOI and PSA dates. So let's get started with the short form dates. And of course this is familiar to many of you that have seen it before or that actually have this file. So just a quick review, any information that's missing, the rest of the information goes away. Any errors up here will white out the whole thing. And then with that we go to the PSA, which by the way is right below. We go to the PSA and it's pretty much the same thing. We make a mistake here and the whole thing, it gets whited out. So let's go back there and here any errors you might make. Let's say put in 76, the maximum is 75. Oh, you get a mistake there, and of course when you go to the PSA it tells you you have an error and you have a date missing. So let's go back and undo that. And that's a pretty fast recap of what this tab is all about. So let's take a look at the documents, the legal documents, all months in caps, and here we have the option, we just delete the one and everything is in lowercase, only here. This is the only paragraph here. With that, we go to the PSA, and we have two amounts in caps, 201 and 301. Okay, well, let's delete that, and let's delete that as well. And now we have all amounts in lowercase. Okay, it's Exhibit C and Exhibit D, like 20 pages down. Actually, 22 pages down. With that, we go to the PSA index. This is very good information to know exactly what it is that you're signing. And we go to termination. The termination is there, another legal contract. We go to the critical dates, and this lists whenever everything expires according to the information we have there. And we're going to come back here to closing date here in a minute. We have 40 days. So we go back to the entry tab, and now we go to the COVID-19 addendum. So let's say we want to increase the title review period. The title review period right now is 30 July. So let's change it. How about if we just change it one day to the 31st of July? So we put in 31st of July. There it is. And we go check the PSA, 31st July for title review period. It's in red, meaning that you have done something. All these are grayed out the minute you put anything into the addendum. We delete that, and we delete that. There we go. We go back to normal. So let's do some work here. Let's start off with 30 days for the title review period. And of course, it's going to tell us that it's past the closing date. And we look up here, and sure enough, it's way past the closing date, September to 19 August. But here it tells us maximum 18 days. So let's try 18 days. We put in the 18 days and tells us, nope, you're still above the cure period is still above the closing dates. Okay, so it says 13. And now it's 8 because now it's a termination by purchaser, that ones that goes over the closing date. So it finally tells us 8. So we put in 8. And of course, if we go back to our original 30 that we needed, well, we're going to have to add 30 to the closing date as well, which right now is 19th August. So let's add 30 days to that. And our closing date is now 18 September, and of course these 30 days do not go over. And now let's take a look at the difference between what the input is. If we go ahead and delete the 30, oh, what was the date? What was the date? The date was 18 September. So we delete that, and we put in 9/18. And we go to the addendum. The addendum in this case just tells us that seller and purchaser agreed to extend the closing date until. But if we go back to SF dates and we know it's 30 days, and we delete this, or we just put in the 30 days here, this supersedes, this column supersedes this column as long as there are no errors in this column. Okay, so now we have just the 30 days. Seller and purchaser agree to extend it for an additional 30 days until. What was the difference? Let's check it again. We delete the 30 here, and we have our date. So when we look at the addendum, it just tells us the closing date until, not how many days. And we go back to SF date. We have seen just pretty much. Let's go back to the 30 days, the closing date. And of course, the closing date right now is 18 September. So let's add 15 more. 45 days. 45 days, 5 October. So let's check our critical dates. 5 October. It's still 40 days after the effective date because that did not change. We cannot change the documents we already have sent in. In other words, the LOI and the PSA, and that's part of the reason, just as a reminder. Of course, you can go in here and add something because they're not blocked. This is just a reminder. Do not touch these dates if you are working with the COVID-19 addendum. And of course, once you put in a number anywhere, when we go to start, it shows you have the COVID-19 addendum. And let's get rid of that real quick. So we go here, and we delete, and we delete, and we delete. And we go back to start. It says, guess what? There's no COVID anymore. So let's go back there, and let's say, yeah, we have, let's go with the 30 days. Let's go with the 30 days. But then for some reason, let's check out the long form. And the long form, let's just add 1 day here. And of course, all these are grayed out. This is a long form, by the way. Long form LOI, PSA, and long form. Okay, so we put that in there, and of course, it's going to show us here that the long form has also a COVID-19 addendum. And lastly, in this short presentation, if we go to SF dates, and for some reason we decided that we do not want it, and we just tell it, you know what, clear both. And after it's done clearing everything, we go back to start, and now we have the long Valley View Apartments, a long form LOI here. And if we did that by mistake, we simply close it. We say don't save, and we reopen it. And that, of course, is the instructions. When you hit one of those delete buttons accidentally or unwillingly or whatever, you take it back. All you have to do is close it without saving and then open it again, and you go back right to where you were. We have a demo that we will gladly send to anybody that sends me a message with their email. And of course, those of you who purchased it already will get this as soon as we finish the demo, looking over the demo. And of course, the instructions here it is, the COVID-19 addendum. The instructions are on the sheet. The one thing that is not on the sheet, let's try that real quick. You go back to the short form, and as for some reason we decide to put in a date format, or we're not thinking straight, or what have you, well, of course it's going to be because that takes 14th of July of 1900. That's what you're telling it. It said, no, wait a minute, I just want it 7 days. Okay, 7 days. But, however, the date format will remain until you clear it. You clear COVID, and then you go back, and now you can put in your 7. And that's pretty much it. So if you want a demo, just go ahead and send me a message with your email, and we'll take it from there. Thank you so much. Have a great one.